Good morning, and thank you so much to Sharon and the Reflection Trio. What a gift and what a pleasure to have real live music with us and beautiful music. So, thank you for sharing your gift with us today. And for me, that's a particularly special thing. One of my dad's stories that he likes to tell about me when I was a little baby was how I would wake up in the morning or after a nap, whenever I would wake up in my crib, I would sing. And I wouldn't cry or fuss, but I would wake up singing. I like that story because it captures for me the beauty and the purity of childhood, of all children at that age, just expressing themselves in the world before they're molded or formed or shaped by the physical world that we all live in. Children, in fact, are geniuses. And it's been shown scientifically, but it's also something that's just intuitively obvious. If you look at a child and the way a child learns, they learn in every dimension of life. When they're born, they can't do anything on their own. They can't stand, they can't even touch their face. But they learn physically, they learn mentally, they learn emotionally, they learn spiritually, intuitively. They just absorb things like a sponge. And it's that essence of genius that is in every single child. The scientist Buckminster Fuller said this about this. He said, "All children are born geniuses, and we spend the first 6 years of their lives de-geniusing them." That's true for all of us. The studies have shown, I'm sure you've heard this statistic, that most of us as adults operate at about 10% of our capacity. We use about 10% of the capacity of our brain, whereas these infants just absorb things on every level, and their brain is forming and learning and absorbing. As adults, we use just a small portion of it. And it's because we have been trained to operate in the human world. And yet we still have that genius inside of us. So, how do we connect more frequently, more easily to that genius that we have inside of us? Because that is how we let our light shine in the world. So, I'm going to talk today about three challenges that most of us face as we think about letting our light shine in the world. And for me, this is a very timely topic. Timely in a macro sense of the world. If you just look at where we are as a world, there's some tension and strife in our world, but in a very specific meaning, right now, this last month, these weeks that we're in right now, we have a real need to shine light in the world. And each of us has a role to play in that. So we'll talk about how to do that today. But before we start, I want to circle back to the first two unity principles that Brenna shared earlier. The first one, there is only one power active in the universe and in our lives, God, the good omnipotent. And the second principle, God is the substance and intelligence innate in every person and in all creation. Personally, I kind of like the shorthand version of that. God is, and I am. God is everywhere present. God is everything. In all of the experiences that we have and all of the creation and everything we see around us, God is there. And I am a part of that. I am connected to it. That presence is within me as well. We are spiritual beings living in a human world, having a human experience. If you've ever been present as a human being comes into this world, or as a human being exits this world, at a birth or at a death, you may have experienced this. It's a time when that barrier between the spiritual existence and the human existence is very narrow, it's very thin. And you may have felt that essence of the spiritual being coming into this world or exiting this world. And so while there's a very small gap between our spiritual experience and our human experience at the beginning, during our life, that gap widens, only to narrow again at the end. So as we're in this middle portion of our life where it feels like there's a bigger gap between our human experience and our spiritual experience, how do we navigate that gap? Well, we can, and that connection is there all the time. And there are three challenges that get in our way. And those challenges are doubt, worry, and fear. So, have you any of you ever experienced those? If you have, just nod your head with me. Yes, of course you have. They're part of the human experience. We've all had those in our life. And we don't really want those. It's not just, our work is not to get those out of our life. It's not to push them away and just wish them to be gone. Because part of being human is that we experience doubt, worry, and fear. So the trick then is, what do we do with them? How do we work with them so that they do not control our lives and they do not dominate us? So today I'm going to talk specifically about letting your light shine and how doubt, worry, and fear can get in your way in terms of letting your light shine in the world and how you can overcome them. Let's start with doubt. There are some fundamental questions that go with doubt, starting with, what is my light? What is my purpose? If I were to live my greatest expression of life on this earth, what would that look like? In my business, I'm a life coach. I work with people to live their fullest and best life. And it is pretty common for people to come to me and say, I know there's more for me, but I don't know what it is. And it's that state of doubt or confusion about feeling like I want to go somewhere, but I don't know what it is or where it is. And I've really come to appreciate that that is a tension between this spiritual pull. If these two planes that we each have within us, our spiritual existence, there's a pull for more at that level. And at the same time, there's a resistance at the human level. And the doubt or the confusion is the result of that tension, that tug of war between the part of us that wants more and knows exactly what that is, and the part of us that is uncertain or has some doubt or some concerns. I know this tug of war because I've experienced it myself. When I spent 5 or 6 years in a job that was a pretty good job, but it wasn't fulfilling for me. And I knew there was more. I wanted more. I had the intention to have more in my life, but I was in that place of doubt. I didn't know what it looked like. The place where I got some clarity actually was right here at Unity Palo Alto. Well, not here, because I'm at home at the moment, but here in the spiritual, virtual sense of the word. And that's where I got some clarity. And that clarity came by releasing all of the constraints and assumptions and limitations I had put on myself about the kind of life I could live, what I was suited for, what I was capable of. And as I released those very human limitations that I put on myself, I was able to connect more clearly with the spiritual dimension of my life, with that pull for more in myself. And that led me down this path to become a life coach. So, what then is the antidote to doubt? The antidote to doubt is belief. It's to believe that you have that spiritual dimension within you, to believe that you have a light in you, and that light is always present, it's always shining. Some of us are more aware of it, some of us are less aware of it. But that light is always there, and it is always ready to be illuminated and to shine out in the world. And I like this in particular because when you walk into your house at night and it's dark and you can't see anything, you don't wish the dark away. You don't just hope that it's going to disappear. You don't push at the darkness saying, I don't like this darkness. No, you simply turn on the light. In very much the same way, you will not push away the doubt. You can't wish it away. You can't get it out of your life, but you can turn on the light of belief. So it's our first challenge, from doubt to belief, and let your light shine. The second fundamental challenge that many of us face in letting our light shine is one of worry. So these might sound like this. Am I good enough? Who am I to have a desire to let my light shine in the world? What would that even look like? What difference could one person make in the world? And the antidote to worry is connection. Connection. God is, I am. When you can anchor that into yourself, when you can really embrace that and hold that connection, that is the full antidote to any sense of worry of, am I good enough and can I let my light shine in the world? Rather than talk about that sense of connection, I want to actually have an experience of it with you here today. And so I'm going to lead you in a short visualization exercise. So take a nice, deep, cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and allow your eyes to close or your gaze to soften. And as you take another deep inhale through your nose and out through your mouth, just allow all of the tension and the worry and all of the elements of your life to just fall away for a moment and just notice your breath. Notice yourself there breathing, the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. Perhaps the coolness of the air in the back of your throat or the tickle of the air as it flows through your nostrils. Then broaden your attention out beyond just your breath to your whole physical experience, the weight of your body in the chair, the coolness or the warmth of the air on your skin, the feel of your clothing against your skin, the sounds of the world around you. Just broaden your awareness to take all of that in, just like a cloud of sensation. Just as an infant must experience the world before they have any filters on it, allow all of those sensations to flow in. And treat your awareness not as a spotlight focused on one thing and going from thing to thing, but treat your awareness as a floodlight, illuminating the whole expanse of your sensations, the sounds, the feelings, the emotions, even the thoughts that go through. Just opening up your full awareness to all of that. And as you continue to expand your awareness wider and wider, see if you can sense the energy without opening your eyes. Sense the energy of the people there in the room with you or in the house with you. Can you sense their energy or the energy of life outdoors, in nature, in birds and squirrels and trees and grass and flowers? That energy of life that is ever present. It's the ribbon of life flowing throughout the world. And feel that inside of you. That energy that causes your heart to beat, that breathes you, that works your digestive system, that powers your very body. That energy of life is there inside of you. And I'll offer you a simple affirmation, and I invite you to repeat it with me a few times. I'll say it first, and then we can all say it together, either aloud or silently in your head. I am an expression of the divine. Say that with me. I am an expression of the divine. A few more times. I am an expression of the divine. I am an expression of the divine. I am an expression of the divine. And to simplify that even more, I am divine. Say that with me a few times. I am divine. I am divine. I am divine. Notice that feeling now of connection. And you can open your eyes when you're ready, but just notice that feeling and remember that feeling of what does it feel like to be connected? What is that feeling inside of you? That sense of groundedness and peace and a knowing that you are much bigger than any circumstance or situation in life, that you have that sense, that ribbon of life that flows everywhere through this world, flows through you as well. And that is the antidote to worry, is connection. And when you're connected, you can let your light shine. The third fear, or the third challenge, excuse me, I just gave it away. The third challenge that most of us face is fear. And fear is, some of the fundamental questions that go with that when we're talking about shining our light in the world is, can I do that? Can I let my light shine? What will other people think? What might happen? What might I lose? Fear is very much a part of the human experience. In fact, it's part of the animal experience. And fear for most of us comes from this part of our brain that has developed over millions of years. And it is about keeping us alive. That is the purpose of fear. It's to keep us alive. And it's the purpose of our brains. And our brains are tuned to fear. Our brains are specialized at scanning for threats, for challenges, and responding to those so that we stay alive and thrive in the world. And fear is just a manifestation of that. So it's something that I can absolutely relate to because I described coming here to Unity and finding this place of getting connected with my belief and connecting with the spiritual part of me. And that led me forward towards leaving 25 years in the corporate world to go start a business as a life coach. I went from being an expert to being a beginner. And did I have fear? Absolutely. I remember the day that I was getting ready to walk out the door, and there was a part of me that was questioning, what are you doing? And there was a part of me that knew that this was the right path. So the antidote to fear is courage. The antidote to fear is courage. And courage is easily misunderstood or misinterpreted as an absence of fear. But that's not at all what courage is. Courage is a willingness to step forward in the presence of fear. And so the antidote to fear of letting your light shine is courage. So it's these three simple things that often stand in our way when we think about what does it look like to let my light shine in the world. It's the doubt, the worry, and the fear. And the antidote to doubt is belief. The antidote to worry is connection. And the antidote to fear is courage. You have an amazing light shining within you. Each of you does. And I invite you to join me in letting your light shine in the world because there never was a time when it was more important than right now. I'm going to close with a poem by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So let's take that thought into our time of prayer and meditation. So, once again, I invite you to relax and with a deep cleansing breath, to allow your eyes to close or soften your gaze and move into a time of stillness. If you can, drop right back into that place of connection. With each breath, let go a little bit more of our human constraints and concerns and worries, and connect a little bit more deeply, a little bit more strongly with your divine essence, that light inside of you. And remind yourself, I am divine. I am divine. Open your heart, open your soul to that truth that speaks to you, that speaks through you, that you are divine. And you have a divine gift in your light to shine and share with the world. And just embrace that divine gift in the stillness and in the silence. As we give thanks for that voice of truth within us, we remember that that is not here just in this moment, not here just on Sundays, not just on those days that we're here at Unity or at any spiritual place, but that truth is with us every moment of every day. And we can connect with that and let our light shine in the world. And for that, we are deeply grateful. And we give our thanks and say, thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen.